What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheA butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. And yesterday we did have a couple of new members join us. We had Baby Doll Thornton join us. We also had Army of Goats with a rejoin, and we also had Haunted Mama over on Patreon join us. Thank you so much for your support, time, love. Just taking the time out of your day means the absolute world to this channel. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Ryan Tryon 98. Am I the arsehole for eating the food my mum put on the porch for delivery drivers? I, 23 male, live at home with my parents while college is still virtual. I don't have a job, so I'm supported by them when it comes to food and stuff. For quite a few months, my parents, specifically my mum, has been putting snacks and drinks out on the porch for UPS, USPS, FedEx drivers because she saw someone on the internet do it. The problem with this is that what she puts on the porch is way nicer than what she buys for me and my sister to have around the house. For example, I've seen cans of soda, energy drinks, candy bars, little Pringle cans, etc. We don't get anything like this bought for us. One day when I was looking for something to eat, I could not find anything that sounded good. I remembered all the stuff on the porch and decided it wouldn't hurt to grab a drink and a snack. Ever since then, I would occasionally grab something when I was really craving it. I guess my mum noticed that the stash was getting emptied at a faster rate than usual, and she confronted me and my sister about it. I wasn't going to lie because I knew she probably already had proof it was me, so I admitted to taking the food. She got mad and asked why I would take those snacks when we already had stuff in the house, and I tried to explain that I didn't like what we had inside, but she wouldn't hear it. She is trying to guilt trip me now because she told me she was going to stop putting stuff out for drivers because of me. I don't think this is fair at all to me. Am I the arsehole here? I mean, you're 23. That's what jumped out at me straight away. You're 23 and you're worried about what mummy's buying you as snacks. I mean, come on, man. And yes, it's just hugely arseholish behavior that, your mum's putting this food out out of the kindness of her heart for these people that's, during a pandemic this time, they're probably working extra hard, having to avoid certain and deal with a lot of entitled customers, I imagine. And so she's just trying to throw a little bit of happiness their way, and you're taking that away from them. So that does make you the arsehole. But Burger King Lettuce says, you're the arsehole, you are 23. Surely you can get a part-time job and have money for snacks. It's time to grow up. Mummy and daddy don't have to pay for your snacks. Those weren't meant for you, they were meant for delivery and post workers. And Grilled Stuffed Dragon says, yes, of course you're the arsehole, you are stealing food not meant for you. If you want better food, go buy it yourself. And LKVW Furry says, oh my god, yes, you're the arsehole, you are an entitled jerk. The free food I get isn't nearly as nice as the free food my mum puts out for someone who is working to support their life during a global pandemic. Really, dude? What if I take the thank you that was meant to brighten someone else's day so they can brighten mine instead? Screw the other person. And Cubby G Throw says, you're the arsehole, you are stealing food that wasn't purchased or left there for you. If you didn't think it was wrong, you would have asked first. If you don't like what is being provided for you for free, then perhaps you should get a job and pay for your own snackies. You don't have a job, so that food and stuff is rent, utilities and internet. And one more from Family Fig saying, you're the arsehole, you are 23. Buy your own snacks, you're acting like a 12-year-old. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? And do you think OP is the arsehole or not? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Major F Up. Am I the arsehole for taking my nephew back to my sister's husband after she left him with me? My sister had her baby 6 months ago, and this morning she brought him to my apartment. It was 10 AM and I, 19 male, was half asleep. She asked me if I could watch him really quick because she had some stuff to do and call her if anything. He was asleep, so I said okay, but he woke up 20 minutes later crying. I gave him his bottle and he was calm for a bit but started crying again. I don't know what to do with baby, so I called my sister. She says she is still stuck running errands, but she had tried to be there soon. When I asked if Ted, her husband, could come get him, she said to leave him alone because he's busy with work at the house. Literally an hour later and he is still screaming his head off. I tried looking up how to calm him down, so I'm rocking him, trying to play on the floor or showing him my phone, but nothing. He wasn't having it. I call my sister 2 more times. First time she tells me to give him his bottle, which I already did, and says she'll be soon. Second time she tells me to relax and it is almost done. Called her again 40 minutes later, but this time it goes to voicemail. Then I started to smell something bad, and it was because my nephew shit in his diaper. Smell was awful, and I said hell no, because I do not have it in me to change a shitty diaper, and nothing I did was making him stop crying. He was red in the face from crying all this time. I texted my sister, telling her I was going to take him to their house, but didn't get a reply. Ted was confused when I got there. I told him my sister said she had stuff to do and left him with me, but my nephew wouldn't stop crying. He has a dirty diaper and my sis won't answer me. Guys, he was so pissed off. He took my nephew and told me thank you for bringing him back. That was it. When I got home, my sister was calling me. She was flipping out, asking why the hell I took the baby back to their house when she told me not to. It's because she told Ted she was taking my nephew to her friend's house to have breakfast so her friend could see him, and now he's mad at her because obviously she didn't do that. My parents told me they're in the middle of a huge fight and I should have stayed out of it and babysat my nephew. I don't know what's going on. All I know is Ted is not talking to her sister. My sister called me a couple of times to tell me stuff, and she can't believe I was a shit brother and I couldn't do one simple favour for her when she needed it. Now I'm feeling bad and I don't know if I should have done something different. Was I an arsehole for taking my nephew back instead of waiting for her to show up? Edit, since some of you are focused on the dirty diaper thing, yeah, it makes me sick and want to puke just seeing my sister do it. Not gonna have kids because I'm not built for that stuff and wasn't gonna even try it with him. Also, he wasn't with the dirty diaper that whole time. Less than 15 minutes, because as soon as I knew it was a dirty diaper, I drove him to their house. He definitely wasn't dirty before that because he was making a face when he did go, and that's when the bad smell came. Now, I'm going to dive straight into the deep end with this one, and I might be totally wrong because I've read too many of these stories, but as I said, I'm just going to dive straight in the deep end, and I can be wrong. I think that there might be possible cheating going on here, simply because why did she want to keep it from Ted to begin with? Why did she want to keep that a secret? And I know there could be multiple reasons, but as I said, I've read so many of these stories now, it's like, let's just go straight into the deep end with it. But anyway, definitely not the arsehole in the situation because, you know, she just caught up in her own lies, and I can't believe your family are trying to turn this against you. Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. But Jessica Jones says, not the arsehole. Who lied to her husband? Your sister. Who lied to you by omission? Your sister. Who didn't pick up her phone when her baby was left with a babysitter? Your sister. Who's responsible for the situation? Your sister. And Fargo Hat says, not the arsehole. Sounds like your sister is having an affair. Shame on her for putting you in the middle. And Opie replies saying, holy shit, I didn't even think about that. And I'm glad someone else mentioned it. And Tits Keep Me Motivated says, oh god, not the arsehole. It sounds like your sister just got caught cheating on her husband. Neither the affair or getting caught are your fault. Your parents are either being lied to about what happened or are arseholes for enabling your sister. You didn't insert yourself in this situation. Your sister dragged you in. And Mr. Silk says, not the arsehole, you took the baby to its legal father. It's obvious, no offense, that you are not equipped to care for a 6-month-old baby. Taking the baby to its father when your sister ghosted you was the right thing to do for the baby. Sis is pissed you blew her cover and her husband discovered her lie about where she was going. Now she's in deep shit, which is 100% her fault. And Darth Credence says, not the arsehole, your sister is having an affair. And Ashes says, not the arsehole, but your sister is. Just what or who was she doing that she had to lie to husband about? Now, what do you guys think of this story? I know this subreddit and myself this time could be jumping way too far. It's so easy to do on this subreddit. But what do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from TA Stripper. Am I the arsehole for agreeing to put on a strip show for my aunt's friends? So, I'm a stripper. I'm 25 female, still in college, and as you can imagine, things have not been going great for me in the past year or so. Clubs closed. I've transitioned to OnlyFans and some other virtual platforms, alright. Still make enough to get by, but it's a different market with different promotion skills, so I'm struggling a bit. My aunt is older, 48 female, rich and gay, and has a group of fellow well-off lesbian friends. It's very our word. Don't at me, I have gay friends in their 30s who introduced the show to me. Anyway, most of them are single and well, pent up, so my aunt decided to throw me a bone and asked if I'd be willing to put on a show for them. She promised to pay me a good chunk up front, drive home to her friends that they should tip me like if they were in a real club, and that, of course, she'd leave the call the minute I started dancing. I'm not really in a place to say no to the monies she was offering or the possibility of tips from well-off, horny, tipsy ladies, and I conceded I have a thing for older women, so I agreed. And in doing so, dropped the bomb in the middle of my family. My aunt was setting this up with me over a speaker while she made dinner and my cousin heard. My cousin is now accusing me of trying to seduce his mum. Again, Aunt's not going to watch the show, and I wouldn't do it if she was. Ew. My mum's accusing me of trying to take advantage of lonely women during a hard time, most of whom who drive cars worth more than my apartment, but whatever. And my father's both upset that I'm dancing for his sister's friends, he's never been thrilled that I'm bi, and in agreement with my cousin that I'm being creepy. Most of my friends agree that I'm being weird and that I shouldn't do stripper-related favours for family. I didn't think that this was a bad thing, but with pretty much everyone in my life but my aunt against me on this, I'm starting to have worries. Am I the arsehole for agreeing to this? And we'll start straight away with Wobbly Wump saying, not the arsehole, your aunt just helped you get a job and I don't see a problem. I hope you made bank. 461 says, not the arsehole, this is awesome of your aunt. I failed to see how you're taking advantage of anyone. They all sound like willing participants. And OP replies saying, thank you, I've been thanking her a lot, practically on repeat, lol. My mum's argument is that they're horny, pent up and not thinking as clearly as they could be due to quarantine. Of course, my mum's always felt that strippers are generally predatory and taking advantage of lonely people with money. And Starchy says, not the arsehole, so weird that your mum thinks you are taking advantage of a group of successful established women. The power imbalance favours them. If she was worried about the reverse, I'd get it, but this? Also, shouldn't dad and cousin be mad at aunt, not you? It is her idea. Everyone's arguments are silly and are just meant to shame you for your profession. Hope you make great tips. And Thea M says, not the arsehole, your aunt won't be there and sex work is like a lot of other consulting jobs during COVID. Work has been spotty. Go do your job. And Don't Drink the Coffee says, I'm going with not the arsehole. This is no different than aunt recommending a struggling NSFW drawing artist to her friends. Seriously, why do they seem to think your aunt will stay for the show? What kind of person assumes their cousin is trying to seduce their aunt? Your family is weird. Make it clear to them that you aren't dancing for your family. This is basically a bachelorette show for strangers. Edited to add, also, would your family rather you tried stripping in a club for men? Maybe sell them on the fact that stripping for women, especially ones that have been vouched for, is way safer. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? How would you deal with it? I see no problem with it. If OP's making bank and everyone's happy with it, the participants are happy, OP's happy, what's the issue here, right? Let me know in the comments below. And this next story is from Step Monster Money. Am I the arsehole for having an investment account for my biological daughter while letting my husband make the financial decisions for my stepkids, resulting in no nest egg to give them? My husband and I, male 50, female 41, became a couple almost 20 years ago. He and his ex share 2 children. The kids, Lauren and Craig, were 5 and 7 when their dad and I got together. He and I also have 1 child together. She's currently 17. When we married, we decided we will pool finances, including money spent on the kids. We didn't always agree on how to spend, however, for example, he wanted his older kids to attend a private Christian school. He and the ex picked early on and also wanted to purchase their cars and their cell phones, etc. for them. Whereas I was more inclined to encourage our youngest daughter to buy her own vehicle and work for a phone and so on. How we settled our differences financially was for me to deposit the amount of money my husband spent on the older kids' cars and phones and things into an investment account for our daughter, so each child was being given a fair and equal share. I also gave our daughter the option to spend things like birthday and babysitting money or invest it. We gave the older kids the same options, and oftentimes she would choose to go half and half. When she started working a job midway through high school, none of the kids were required to have jobs if they were in school and extracurricular activities. She decided to. She was already in the habit of saving and put a chunk of money away from each paycheck into her own savings as well. So there's all the background. Now here's where I'm questioning whether or not I'm the arsehole. The investment account legally becomes our daughter's when she turns 18, which is coming up sooner rather than later. It's done extremely well over the years, and she's going to have a very nice amount to spend on grad school or buying a home or whatever the heck she wants. Her own savings and her scholarships will take care of the vast majority of undergrad tuition to boot. Anyway, older sister Lauren questioned her repeatedly on the value of the account, and when our youngest finally told her, Lauren became very upset. She's convinced her dad and I spent way more money on our youngest and snubbed her and her brother despite the out-of-pocket spending for each kid being somewhat lopsided in the older kid's favour. She is insisting that my husband and I write her a check for roughly the same amount as the youngest investment account is worth now. I had a conversation with her about how we arrived at spending and saving for each kid, but Lauren still insists I'm cheating her. Am I the arsehole for not giving in and giving the older kids more at this point? You know, Lauren in this one does sound extremely entitled, but I do have some sort of empathy towards her because this is the way she's been brought up. She's been brought up to have phones, cars, and all this kind of stuff given to her. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way to parent or anything like that, but I'm saying that's the way she's been brought up, and that's why she's probably acting this way now, and it will come across as very unfair to her because she's not going to look back at all these phones and cars. That's all gone now. She's going to look at what's in front of her. And I do feel slightly sorry for her, but at the same time, she still is an asshole in this situation. And at the same time, Lauren is just old enough to understand what's going on here and what happened and how she was raised and stuff like that. So she should be way more understanding at the same time. But I can't help but have that slight bit of empathy towards her. But, you know, Opie is definitely not the asshole in this situation at all. They raised their daughter to be, you know, financially stable, look after their money, and it's the best way forward. And now they've got a nice amount of money to get them started in life. So yeah, there is that. But individual dismissal says, not the arsehole, you were fair. They were his children and he chose to make the decisions he did. Not your fault. Throwaway says, honestly, your husband's the arsehole. He chose private school and cars for his kids over savings when his kids were older. He made horrible decisions with money on their behalf, and I understand why your stepkids are upset. They're just upset with the wrong person. They should be upset with their father. You had no control over how he spent money on them. And OP does reply to this end, I don't know that I would call him an arsehole. He spent money on his kids the way a lot of parents do, providing for them while they were under his roof and allowing them to handle themselves as adults when they became adults. And no one was upset or bothered by it until about a week or so ago. And 461 says, not the arsehole, and please don't let your bio kids suffer because of Lauren's entitlement. I do feel bad for her, but you can't be blamed, and your bio daughter shouldn't retrospectively miss out by having foregone all that other stuff only to have her step siblings be given all that and a nest egg. And Mesm says, not the arsehole, Lauren sounds entitled. Tell her if she wants the same amount she can sell the car and cancel the phone bill, etc. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation, and what do you think should happen? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Reddit arsehole. Am I the arsehole for blowing up at my husband for eating my daughter's birthday candy? Newbie to Reddit, friend told me to post here. My husband and I have a 12-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. My husband is the no parent. For as long as I can remember, he will say no in stores or sports games to the kids' requests for snacks or toys, even if they offer to pay with their own cash. I don't undermine my husband when we are together, but when I have the kids alone, I tend to say yes, within reason of course, and not to every single thing. 2 days ago was my daughter's birthday. It's her second birthday that we've been in lockdown, and I bought her 2 boxes of her favourite candy along with her gifts. My daughter ate some of the Swedish fish out of the first box and decided to save the rest on her dresser, where her brother is too short to reach, and assumed us, the parents, wouldn't take any. Well, I was wrong. I awoke to my daughter crying that her dad had eaten her second box of Swedish fish and some out of the first box and only left her with a few. I checked the trash in our bedroom and confirmed my husband had eaten them. I was furious. I screamed at him that he is a grown man who can go to the store and buy whatever the hell he wants without anyone to tell him no. Well, he always says no to our kids, and the rare time she gets to eat her favourite candy, his ass has to eat it. He said we're both making a big deal over candy. I told him it was more than just candy, that he obviously doesn't like seeing the kids happy, and he's a thief. I took my kids to my sister's house to cool down, and bought my daughter more Swedish fish to make up for the ones my husband stole. We're still at my sister's house a day later, until my husband can truly apologise to his child. The thought of him disgusts me. Am I the arsehole? You just have to have a quick Google to see what Swedish fish are, and they look quite tasty actually, a bit Haribo-esque I must say, but I don't know. You have to let me know. And we're going to start straight away with Mr. Silk saying, reading between the lines here, but there seems to be some dysfunction in your marriage that rises well above an Am I the Arsehole post on Reddit. You're obviously at the end of your tether with your husband's behaviour, which you have discussed with him numerous times in the past, only to have him now do something this obnoxious to his own daughter and seeing absolutely nothing wrong with it. Some would say your behaviour was over the top. More likely, this incident was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Not the arsehole. To which Music with Rocks on replies to this saying, it's not a big deal out of candy. It's a big deal because it's about your husband's ability to trust and feel safe with you and at home. If you don't treat your child like a person and just take from them whenever you want, they won't feel safe with you. They will live with constant worry that things that they value can be taken away. How are you going to teach them to respect others if you don't show them you respect them? Take what you want, as long as you have the power to, is a terrible lesson for them to pick up on. This is so much more than candy. And Infamous Wasabi says, ask your husband to explain something to you. If candy isn't a big deal, why does he never allow the children to buy it, even with their own money? Then ask him to explain what life lesson he is teaching your daughter by stealing her candy, not apologise for taking it and not replacing it. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation, and what do you think should happen? Do you think there's more going on in this story? Let me know in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And if you want to support the channel further, you absolutely can, but no pressure to do so by clicking that join button down below for YouTube, or clicking the link in the description for Patreon and joining up there. Thank you so much for your time, love, and support, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.